When I woke up in a panic from what I thought was an episode of sleep paralysis, filled with shadow like images of demons hovering above me. The nurses and guard, they thought I was trying to escape. They were not kind. I have to go to the bathroom. I pleaded. Go. You have a catheter, she told me coldly. I didn't know what that meant. She explained, and it hurt me to hear. Where am I? And why am I chained to the bed? You're at Cooper Green Hospital. You're in custody. You died last night. We revived you. We pumped your stomach. We fed you charcoal. When can I go home? You have to go to jail first. I was 21 years old. For most people, that's way past rock bottom. Legally dead and revived, handcuffed to the bed at the indigent hospital. For me, at that time, it was just poetry. It was part of the myth I'd created to convince myself I was special, that I was a tragedy, and all the world would discover me, discover my brilliance, my beauty, after my death. Because I was too afraid to live. I was too insecure to live still. For most people, that would have been a sign to change. I went on like this for another 2 decades until my adulterous affair drove me to, at the very least, seriously consider suicide in a drunken rage. Hey friends, Mike Shaner here. This is Antistate Content. Last week I posted a video about a question someone asked me on social media. Be honest. Has prayer ever worked for you? I told all of you that as soon as I read the question, I felt compelled to share my story. And over the next few episodes of Anti-State Content every Sunday night, um, which you can find on YouTube, on Substack, um, on Spotify, on all the things, um, for at least the foreseeable future, this is the story I'll be telling. So, um, the one thing I don't want to do here is glamorize or romanticize any of this. That's how I embraced my demons. I felt drawn to Hank Williams and Jim Morrison and every artist the world loved and immortalized for wasting their life. I believe by the end of this series, you'll at least understand why I was that way. Today, I'm truly happy. Our house is filled with laughter. We laugh so much. We have a family farm with babies running around. You might even hear my 2-year-old. He pretends to sleep for 5 seconds and then he starts jumping up and down in his crib. We have so much laughter here. We laugh all the time. It's so pretty. It's so nice. My faraway in a perfect world dream that only happened to other people was to have a cattle farm. I didn't even think to dream of a family. I didn't think I'd get married, and I didn't think I could make babies. And now business trips, expense accounts, Trust, value, honest relationships that take honest effort and provide honest rewards. Wow. No, that's like a George Clooney movie I saw one time. That's not those kind of things don't happen to me. That's not my life. My life is being chained to a bed at the indigent hospital or throwing things back and forth with wild women. But here I am, right? Well, my story's over when I finish this series. You have to be really, really scared of God to hide from his presence in my life. And I'm not special. I'm very special actually, but not unique in this way. We're all special. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything except I finally hurt so bad that I asked the Lord to stop and show me a better way, to make the hurting stop and show me a better way. I realize I have a hole in my shirt here. Um, if you're watching this, ignore it. I've also got sweatpants on. I'm going to go to bed after this. It's not even 8 o'clock. That's all I did. All I did was I got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I asked God to take it from me. I said, I can't do it. My life is unmanageable. And he did. And at first there were all these talks about promises and things that'll be revealed, and I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted to not be sad. But if you're reading this, if you're watching, listening to this, however you're experiencing this, if you feel broken or feel isolated, insecure, like you're a misfit, like you're undeserving, please stay with me across the next few episodes. I'm not here to preach. I won't be preaching. I'm just going to tell you my story, and you might relate. You can draw your own conclusions. I'll get to how I ended up in that hospital or and all those stories. I'll tell a lot of stories along the way. I want to be as honest. I want to tell all the bad that I did, as much as I can without hurting other people. I want to tell the whole story, all of it. I want to tell the you know because I know that I'm not the only one in the world who ever felt the way I felt. And so, like I said, if you feel broken, if you feel isolated, if you feel insecure, if you feel like you don't deserve redemption, if you feel like you're a misfit, just stay with me. Just stay with me. I'm going to tell my story, and you might relate, and you can draw your own conclusions. But to get to how I ended up chained to the hospital bed, and how I ended up here with the farm and the laughter and the joy and the I'll help you if I can. I start at the beginning, right? And I want to be real careful on this. I don't want anything to come across as an excuse. I have to tell the story. I have to tell the circumstances. I have to tell what happened. But I'm not blaming anyone for any action that I ever took. I can only that's me. I'm not like here like oh this person did it. It's the blame. There's no blame. I feel cleansed, right? But I don't, as I tell this story, I don't want it to come across, because I have to start at the beginning. I have to start, at the very beginning, because you have to understand how I felt. So, like, what was in my mind, so that maybe you can find out why you feel. Because I didn't know this. Like, I didn't know why. I didn't know that I was hiding, right? I didn't know that I was. I didn't know I was acting. Really. I mean, subconsciously, I must have known because I was doing it, but outwardly, I didn't know. Like, all I ever wanted back then, there was nothing that could fill that hole. But what I thought I wanted was to be seen, to be liked, to be loved. But everybody that ever tried to love me, I made them prove it to the point that they couldn't. And so I know I'm not the only one. I know there's somebody else right now. I know there are other people out there that feel it. And so, anyway, so what I'm going to do each week, each Sunday, I'm going to go probably about 30 minutes, give or take. When I get to a good stopping point, I'll stop. But this week, I'm going to talk about childhood, because, like I said, to tell a story, I have to start at the beginning. For me, I was born, Mama was 16 years old, and my biological father, he must have been 16, 17. I never met him. I was named after him. Everybody, you see my name, Mike Shaner, but my name is actually Bill. Mike's not in my name legally anywhere. Um, my legal name is Bill Shaner, named after him. And obviously, I don't remember him, don't know him. If I ran into him today, if he was sitting over there, I wouldn't know him. I don't care. I mean, I'm not. I don't mean that flippantly. I just meant I'm just explaining. Like, that's never been a. To me, that's never been a big issue. I was writing this all out today. I was writing these stories. I'm just telling you. I was writing these stories, trying to figure out what I wanted to share. Man, I started crying. I gave forgiveness today that I didn't even know I had to give. Like, I felt a huge release. I really did go into this thinking, if there's another boy out there like I was, if there's another kid out there like I was, if there's another teenager out there like I was, if there's another young man out there like I was, if there's another 30-something-year-old man out there like I was, another 40-year-old man out there like I was, I want to help them, because I have something. I've been given such a precious gift, and it's my responsibility to share that gift. Um, so I started doing it thinking for that, right? But then when I started, like, I was preparing for this one. I usually don't. I usually come on and just kind of have a topic. I talk a free form, and I'm doing that now. But earlier, I prepared a little bit, and I was writing out these stories because I didn't know really where this was going to go. And as I was writing them out, I just got overwhelmed with emotion, like, really, that I didn't. I mean, I started crying. Like, I'm supposed to be a cowboy, right? I'm just kidding. I don't care. I started crying, and I hadn't done that in a long time. And I wasn't sad. Like, I wasn't like, it wasn't like nostalgic tears. It was, my body was releasing something that I didn't even know. I didn't know it had in me anymore. I thought I'd already given all that away. And I mean, I was writing stories from, like, when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, about people who've been great to me, who I loved, were heroes to me. But today I forgave them for things that you'll learn about as we go along. Um, and I didn't know I had to. So, as much as I was saying I'm doing this to see if I could help anyway, it's really helping me. I mean, it really is. It's God works that way. Like, I don't know if anybody's gonna. The people that follow me, they don't follow me for spiritual advice. They follow me for because they like my politics. This is a new realm for me. So I don't know if anybody's even gonna see it. And if I don't help a single person, I was afraid to start today. I was afraid because like I'm not a celebrity, I'm not. In my mind, I'm like I don't want people to think I'm a narcissist by telling my life story. Um, I had all these fears after really, really was trying to talk myself out of doing this, and because I was so afraid somebody would see it and make fun of me. True, I was so afraid somebody's going to see it and they're going to make fun of what I have to say or whatever. But I thought, well, so what? I don't know. I don't care about those things in general. This is the first time, and I do it all the time. People make fun of my whatever I say, like writing, politics. I make fun of that stuff all the time. I've never cared, but I cared about if they made fun of this because this is different for me. I'm more vulnerable here. I'm telling. I think this is more important. I think this is real, and so I've came up with all these ways to talk myself out of actually doing this. Like, are people going to think I'm a buffoon for trying to think they care about my life story? That is the big thing that I came across, and then it's like at the end, you know, nobody may see it, and if you do or you don't, that's fine. I'm putting it out there for one reason, and when I realized that, and I really came to it, I was like, I felt compelled to, then I was okay. And if it doesn't help anybody, like if it doesn't reach anybody, I hope it's a double edged hope. I hope nobody needs it. But if there is someone out there who is going through that hell, because it was hell. I didn't even know it was hell. I pretended it wasn't, but it was hell. And if there's somebody out there that's going through that hell and I can reach them, then it would be so selfish not to do this because I'm afraid of being rejected. That's what it all boils down to. And that's what a lot of this is going to come back to. So, anyway, so I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And then I was like, well, if it doesn't help anybody, it helps me. And I realized this a long time ago, but I remembered that an honest and truthful attempt to be selfless is oftentimes the most cathartic. It's some of the best things that ever happened to me is when I wasn't trying to make anything good happen to me. So, anyway, I'll get back to the story a little bit. So I'm gonna get back and try to get to. I don't know how long I've been on, but I'm gonna go a few more minutes, and so I'll tell the story. Like I said, Mama was 16. My biological father was 17, and I think right away when I was little, and I was named after him, Bill. And we went and lived with my grandparents, and then real shortly after, my mom, or during that time, I don't know, somehow my mom ended up with um, my stepfather at the time. And so I don't ever remember being called like little Bill, not William, by the way. If you, because she was 16, she was a kid. She called him Bill, so she called me Bill. And anyway, and she's just a little kid. She was just a kid, little kid, right? And then she had this boyfriend, and then they got married, and his name was Mike. And all of a sudden, my name was Little Mike. So here I am, nothing, this little, and I'm already on my second name. And one of my earliest memories was actually we lived in a trailer park, me and Mama and Mike, um, who's a really good man. I remember him like I remember stories of him. I remember he cared for me. I remember even in this, he wanted to be my father. he and my mom were. She was telling me about my other dad, my biological dad, and I was little, 3, 4, something like that. And he got mad that she was telling me, and so then they started arguing. And doesn't matter, doesn't mean anything. It's just one of the things I remember from being little. But here I am, then whatever, they broke up, like teenagers do, and um, they broke up. And I had a little brother. He's my best friend in this whole world. I don't believe in the term half brother. I don't think you can have half a brother, but we have different dads. But I've never. We my grandparents raised us both, he and I, and there were other brothers and sisters that came along later. But at this point, from Mike, Mitch was born, and because she couldn't name him Mike, so she had to name him Mitchell, which is like Mike. Because I had taken Mike, although I really hadn't, because I was Bill. So I got off to a real good start, right? Anyway, a lot of I remember different things then, little things. I remember one time, and this is one of the ones I was thinking about today. Yeah, my mom, she's just a teenage girl herself, and she was trying to be a grown up and trying to raise a baby and be a wife, and how would she know how to do that? And Mike, he was the same age roughly, and how would he know how to do that? They didn't know how to do those things, but they were trying to. They were trying really hard, and so I lived with them, and but I wanted to be with my grandparents. Even then, even very little, I always wanted to be with my grandparents. I would go and stay with my grandparents, and then on the weekend, and then they would bring me home. And my grandmother, I called my grandfather Papa, my grandmother Nanny. So Nanny would she would take me home sometimes on Sunday night, you know, and she would have to pretend she was going to spend the night to keep me from throwing a fit. And then she'd stay there until I fell asleep, and then she'd leave. So I always wanted to be with them. But, they had this family, and or they were trying to have this family. So anyway, so it caused a lot of tension because my granddad wanted me there too. My granddad, from the moment I was born, well, I believe this may be the end of the episode one, because I think my 1 year old is my 1 year old's waking up, and I need to go in there and check on him and put him to bed. Um, Next week I'll go more into detail on this. There's a lot of stories here. I said I'm going to tell the stories, and then I'm going to get into the jail stuff and the death stuff, and then the redemption stuff is coming. But I promise you, please, if you feel a certain way, there's help out there. Stay along with me. You may relate. Hey, thanks a lot, friends.